The next presentation will be from Paulius Tarbūnas, who is the head of Neopay, and he's gonna have a fancy keynote with a lot of trendy hashtags, hashtag e-commerce, hashtag open banking, hashtag sharing economy, hashtag shaken. Paulius, stage is yours.
Hello. Hello everybody, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me and thanks for allowing half an hour to speak. I think this is the exceptional conference in that sense because it allows me to speak a bit slower and hope that you will not fall asleep. Exactly, I have a couple of hashtags. On the other side, I kind of hate buzzwords, but my aim today was to speak a little bit about open banking and sharing economy and how we believe it might blend together in the future, and all of that in the context of e-commerce. So my name is Paulius Tarbūnas. My background, my experience in the financial sector, my journey in the financial sector started in 1995. So I'm kind of the old guy already in that sense. And my journey started with SEB. In my latest days of the career at SEB, my team was responsible for new version of mobile banking at SEB, and also together with Swedbank we have implemented Smart ID into the market. Then I was tasked with a very interesting task to create a new financial institution, which is the Central Credit Union in Lithuania. Then I was working on extremely interesting project and consulting Tieto on LB Chain project, which was initiated by the Bank of Lithuania, and basically the Bank of Lithuania was trying to create a blockchain sandbox for financial institutions. And before jumping to my current role, I was heading Fintech Lithuania, so kind of I know a lot of Fintech companies, and I was happy to was able to be the part of Lithuania's Fintech journey a little bit. And currently I am heading Neopay, and Neopay is basically the product of open banking. It's not a separate company. It's a part of a company called Neo Finance, and we are licensed electronic money institution. We are licensed by the Bank of Lithuania, but of course our license is passported across the EU countries, and we provide open banking services, and we operate under Payment Service Directive 2, and I would like to stop on that a little bit more because I noticed during the conference that this topic is still relatively not known. Of course not to all of you, but we noticed a lot of people who don't really know the history. So just a brief recap, because it is important to understand how it works. So as the name suggests, there probably has been Payment Service Directive 1, which was implemented in 2015, and the Payment Service Directive 2 came into force 2018. And basically it said a couple of things. It allowed third-party payment providers to offer services. It allowed, or actually asked banks and financial institutions to open customer data, accounts and payments to third-party providers. And also it enforced certain security measures, additional security measures. So when you log into your internet bank account, you need to use strong customer authentication. Why it was done? There were probably 2 or 3 main reasons. One being that the European authorities tried to increase the competition in the financial services markets by allowing fintech companies to become more active, to build new business model, to build new ideas, and to kind of, you know, expand the market as such. Also, it has regulated the market because all the third-party service providers are regulated. They need to get the license from the central banks or relative kind of respective regulatory authorities in each country. And like I said, it increased also security on how these services are used. So that allowed us to build our service, and we became active in 2018. Currently, we are active in 9 countries, the blue countries, so Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Finland, Sweden, Norway, the Netherlands, Poland, and now we are building connections to Greece. Potentially, the whole European Union is our market, and we could relatively easy to scale our business there if we have enough interest. We are working only with secure APIs. We do not use the old screen scraping technologies which were used before the Payment Service Directive 2. And currently we have built connections to 130 banks and other financial institutions in those countries. And currently we have quite many projects already which generate 1.4 million monthly transactions in our case. What are open banking solutions? The main solution in our case is payment initiation service, and I will stop on that a little bit more. But we also provide, of course, account information service and some other solutions which are closely related to those 2 main services, right? So, you know, we could send, if you are sending invoice to your customer, you could include an active payment link which would direct the customer directly to the payment. We can help to identify and to verify your customer. With some banks which support functionality, we can offer instant payments or very quick payments, recurring payments as well. And also, of course, as many others, we are looking into financing and buy now, pay later options. And currently we are implementing also bulk payments. A lot of these functionalities actually depend not only on us, but on participating banks, because if they don't open these functionalities, if they don't build their APIs in this way, we cannot offer the service to you. Regarding payment initiation service, so again, we were asked quite many times, what is it during this conference and at our stand? So that's why I decided to stop on that and explain that once again. It's basically the checkout option and how the customer pays in your e-shop for the goods, for the basket of goods he or she has selected. And you know, they choose the bank, and from there on the customer journey or customer experience is actually very similar to what you would do when logging into your internet bank, right? It's just that you do that through our window, through our widget. You log into your bank, you confirm the payment, and the payment goes directly to the e-shop. What are the benefits of payment initiation service? So basically, we provide immediate payment confirmation. So if you are e-shop, that's very relevant for you, that you need to feel secure that, okay, the payment has arrived or will arrive, so I can release the goods, I can release the basket of goods. Payment goes directly into your account. So the money does not travel through us, it goes directly from payer's account to your account. And even better than that, with one contract and one integration, you basically get access to all, or well, majority, if not all, financial institutions in the country. because normally we integrate in each country most popular banks, which would cover probably 90% of the market. And not only banks, but also leading electronic money institutions. We also have in our portfolio neobanks, such as Revolut, for example, right? So you get access to all of those banks immediately. This is contrary to the very popular service which you might be using right now, BankLink, where you need to negotiate to connect to each bank separately in order to offer this checkout option for your customers. And also, last but not least, normally payment initiation services offer quite significant saving potential for you as a business, because it helps you to save down either on card fees or on BankLink costs. The actual economy depends on how many transactions you're doing, what's the average ticket size, but in our experience, normally you would save a lot on using payment initiation service. Naturally, I think that maybe you have the question, so what are the disadvantages of payment initiation service? Is it also so bright and so good? I would say like this, that in the early days when this service was beginning to gain traction in the market, of course, customers were a bit skeptical about the fact that additional window pops up and you need to enter your bank login data somewhere, right? And it didn't feel secure. And I remember at that time I was still working on the banking side, and definitely from bank's perspective we were a bit shocked and not happy about this development, because we always said to our customers, never ever share your data with anybody else, never ever share your login data with anyone, right? But since the new regulation came in and service payment providers, like I said, they got licensed and regulated by respective central banks or regulatory authorities, right? This problem is now in the past, and it's not really an issue anymore. On the other hand, many customers got accustomed with logging in through the additional service providers to their internet banks, and that's not an issue anymore. If all of that, or if some of that, what I'm saying, is news to you, then I think you're missing on the opportunity already, and really my suggestion would be Monday morning, 8 o'clock, Google about payment initiation service in Latvia or in Estonia or in your country, and start investigating that, because I believe you are missing on the opportunity to save your time, to save your money, and in a sense to offer your customers better customer experience and more payment options. And is it for any industry? Broadly speaking, e-commerce is the market, and any e-commerce which is doing a significant number of transactions can greatly benefit from using payment initiation service and open banking services. So in our case, e-commerce business, of course, electronic shops or platforms, utility service providers such as gas, water, electricity, or aggregators which collect payments for utilities on behalf of those utility service providers. Those are our customers. Financial institutions, they collect, for example, loan payments with help of our service. Insurance companies and providers, ticket vendors, bookstores, and so on and so on. We also deal with licensed online gaming companies, which are also kind of benefiting from this service. So now let me let me switch to another topic, which is sharing economy, and later I'll try to mix them up together. So basically, you know what sharing economy is. It's the trend which started, I don't know when, probably 10 or even more than 10 years ago, where basically the world has realized that, well, we have a lot of things which we could share. It's not necessary to own the same thing for each of us, okay? It's not necessary to own the car. It's not necessary maybe to own the apartment in each city. And probably a couple of most known examples of sharing economy on the market are Uber and Airbnb, right? And there are many others. But there are also very good examples in the financial world. So P2P lending, person-to-person lending platforms, crowdfunding platforms, social payments are also kind of very relevant and becoming more and more popular and becoming more and more interesting aspects of sharing economy. And I have the privilege to work for the company which has always been very innovative and used every opportunity basically to jump on new market trends, on new possibilities. And therefore, not only we have a payment initiation service as part of our business, but we also have crowdfunding platform, and we also have peer-to-peer lending platform, which is, those two are active in Lithuania at the moment. We are considering expansion plans, but currently we are active in Lithuania. And basically what that allows us to think about in the future, and this is kind of our vision, we would like to create a value proposition for your business which would connect those three things into one offering through probably the same API. So we could offer financing for your business, for your e-shop, for your e-commerce business. Already now we provide payment collection services, and also for your customers we can provide financing options. And at the moment we are focusing on building on this part, so kind of blending payment collection and financing. And the funny thing is, well, the interesting thing is that contrary to other companies, which I will mention, we are planning to use our P2P platform for that, right? So kind of in our P2P platform is so liquid already that we basically can provide the answer to those who want to borrow money within minutes. It's basically the same experience as in your regular bank or financial institution. But those people who probably, maybe for some reason, cannot get access to banking, or they believe in sharing economy, we believe that those would be happy to see this opportunity and to use this opportunity. So that's what we are trying to build, and later we will add also crowdfunding to this offering. Does it have the potential to shake the financial world? I don't know. Probably it's too early to say and too brave to say, and I don't want to say that. But also I think it's interesting to notice a couple of things which are kind of happening now in the fintech world, and especially in relation to open banking and sharing economy. So you know that buy now, pay later is very big, very huge trend right now, right? And funny enough, companies as Klarna, or I forgot the name, but there's a huge Australian company, they are valued like 50 times more than regular banks because they are successful in buy now, pay later product. On the other hand, there was very recent, actually last week, article in the Financial Times which claims that buy now, pay later business model is not really viable as standalone product. Therefore, you see that many companies which offer financing and buy now, pay later are moving to the payment market. And we are coming from slightly different direction. We have built successful payment business already. We have built a successful lending business, P2P platform business, and now we are blending those two together. And so basically, at the end, those companies will meet, right? But they have chosen a different path to reach the same goal. So with that, I'd like to thank you for the attention. If you have further questions, we'd be happy to see you at our stand, and let's use still the afternoon as an opportunity to chat about open banking, sharing economy, and how we can help your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paulius. And now we have time for some questions. Does the audience have questions to Paulius? Isn't there anyone? Okay.
Thanks for a great presentation.
Hey.
Hey. As you mentioned, as you may know, the bank's APIs are not always that reliable. And you said that you are not doing the screen scraping part, you're only focused on the APIs. How does that affect your conversion rates? And do you have like a mitigating actions to prevent that from happening?
Thanks, very good question. Actually, we are not using screen scraping because we consider that not a secure technology. We only do APIs. Now, the answer actually depends on the bank. Bank to bank, the situation is very different. So, for example, if you take two leading Baltic banks, Swedbank and SEB, in our case, we have conversion rates which are close to 98%. Close to 98%. Luminor is catching up. Luminor had many challenges converging two banks and the systems, and of course it took them a while to catch up, but they are also kind of very close to the same level. Interestingly enough, those great neobanks which I mentioned, they are still struggling, and probably they're struggling for two reasons. They are too focused on the growth. They don't see this as the opportunity. They see probably this more as a threat to their business. So they don't really put a lot of effort to help us to integrate them. And their conversion rates are much, much lower actually.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question from the audience?
Yeah, I have a question to monetization. What's your monetization model in Neopay?
Okay, thanks. It's very simple. Neopay, we charge you per transaction. So for each successfully initiated transaction, we take a fee which varies depending on how much volumes you generate per month. In that sense, our monetization model is slightly different from other providers which could charge percentage from the amount. And of course, I mean, if you consider, if you're using payment cards at the checkout, most likely you pay the percentage fee from the amount. So that's what I'm saying, that basically if your tickets are high and transaction volumes are high, this is a huge potential to save, because we charge only small fee from each transaction. And that's our monetization strategy. And actually, our shareholders and founders, they are a bit of the believers of bootstrapping model rather than this crazy fintech model where you need to, gain the whole world and lose money and burn money. We don't have this privilege. We need to be profitable in order to grow. And currently we are. We are earning enough to continue our growth. Maybe not at such a crazy tempo as our competitors, but we feel a bit more secure about that.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question? Okay, then my question is, why Neopay has only expanded to 9 countries? What is slowing down the expansion?
Good question. Probably it goes back to what I just commented, that I mean, in order to expand to all countries, we would probably need to, you know, increase our efforts 10 times. But I think, you know, naturally, as we are Lithuanian company, we wanted to build and test our service in Lithuania and to gain financial strength in Lithuania. And then, you know, naturally happens that, okay, Latvia is the next market, Estonia is the next market, and then you start to look around, and then you realize, oh, we have Poland on the other side, which is a huge market and totally different market. So we are intensifying our efforts now. We are building sales force in Poland. We are building sales force in Estonia. We're looking into Sweden right now, and like I said, if we would have significant customers, we would move to any European market basically along with a customer.
Okay, thank you. Anyone? Okay, then I have an, okay.
I like questions, I'll take the opportunity.
Okay.
So, what client segment would you say that you see the best fit for your value proposition? Is it like one you see like this is a perfect match, or is it tons of them?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. Of course, if I look at our current customer portfolio, I would say that probably in our case, utility service providers and integrators are the best fit because they have pretty straightforward business model and it matches very much with what we are offering. We are offering very simple payment collection service. They have high volumes. We can accommodate those high volumes, and that's it. E-shops, different story because they are very interesting segment for us, but of course they vary from depending on the size, on the complexity, and so on. Financial institutions, again, they are using us for example, loan collections. Insurance companies, they are using us for insurance payment collections. So it's a very broad range, but depending on the industry, there are some peculiarities, I would say, which we need to discuss, agree, and accommodate.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then my question is about open banking session expiration times. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that Neopay is offering recurring payments, but usually these expiration times are 90 days for the session.
Correct.
Am I right?
Correct.
So what happens after the 90 days?
Actually, recurring payments, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to use this word, but sucks, okay? And it sucks not because of us, but it sucks because the way it has been currently built in the banking industry. So what we can do in terms of recurring payments at the moment, we can order the recurring payment. You can order the recurring payment in your bank. If you need to cancel that payment or change that amount, you can't do that through us. You need to go directly to your bank and do the changes. That's how it's built at the moment through banking APIs. And you're correct that after some period of time, they kind of stopped working. I hope that in the future it will develop, but like I said, some banks are going extra mile with open banking, and some banks stick to the bare minimum requirement. And honestly, having worked on the banking side for 20 years, I can also understand them, because definitely they have a list of top projects and top priorities, and sometimes open banking is not one of them, to be honest.
Okay, and in your opinion, what should be done to push further the development of the open banking?
I'm sure PSD3 will come. I don't know. I don't think there's much to be done, to be honest. I think it's a natural development. There's a push from customers. There's an expectations from business, and I think that also the European Union institutions have a quite good grip on that. So I think it will be the very natural development, but I do not see at the moment that something major needs to be done in this area.
Okay, thank you. Is there any question from the audience? Okay, then I'm gonna ask you the last question. So what should open banking payments do to get a bigger market share from the card payments?
I think, I think customer acquisition is the challenge number one in fintech industry. If you talk to any fintech company providing payments or lending, or we have our colleagues from more banking side of it, or KYC AML solutions, customer acquisition is the top challenge for fintechs, right? So I guess, we need to work with customer acquisition. We need to talk loudly about the benefits. We need to prove that we are more flexible, more dynamic than current banks. But I have to admit that in some areas, banks are catching up very nicely, and banks are also offering their own open banking solutions. So it's a tough fight, but I guess, everybody needs just to intensify the efforts.
Okay, thank you, Paulius. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
So the